Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimrandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we saw how there was a fight between Vitrasur and Indra and all the devatas. Vitrasur, when he saw that the demons they are running away from the battle because of the attack of the devatas, first of all, Vitrasur he chastised all the demons, and then he chastised the devatas also because they were attacking from behind. And then after that, Vritrasur, he starts fighting with all the devatas, and we saw that Vritrasur he trampled all the devatas fiercely. Indra threw a club. Vritrasur he caught that club and threw it back, and because of that, Airavat started bleeding from his mouth. Indra healed Airavat, and then Vritrasur, he did not attack because Indra and Airavat they were not in a proper condition. And then after that, Vritrasur he chastised Indra because of his merciless act of killing Vishwarup. And then he instructs Indra that Indra, if you kill me today, you will get heaven and enjoy here. I'll go to the spiritual world to be the Supreme Lord. So therefore, please kill me now. Your thunderbolt is infallible. You should not think that your thunderbolt will go vain like your club. It will be very, very effective. Please throw that thunderbolt. Your victory is assured, O Indra. Please do not have any doubt about this. And then after this, he sees that Indra is such a rascal, that even after telling in so many ways, Indra was having doubt. He was not throwing that thunderbolt. So then Vritrasuri thought, maybe I should offer prayer to the Supreme Lord. And then we saw how beautifully he was offering prayers to the Supreme Lord. The 4 verses which we discussed yesterday, one of the beautiful prayers of the Bhagavatam, just 4 verses, describes the attitude and the devotional sentiments of Vritrasur. So this describes that although somebody may be in the body of a demon, but he can be a devotee from heart. Kiva Vipra Kivanyasi Shudra Kenenai Jai Krishna Tattveta Say Guru Hoy. Who can be a devotee? Anybody who knows the art of Krishna consciousness. He is a devotee. And then in series of verses, he offered his prayers to the Supreme Lord, starting from he wanted to become Dasanudas. Aham Harer Tava Padaikamulam Dasanudaso. Vritrasur wanted to become servant of the Supreme Lord. And then he said, my Lord, I do not want anything of this world. I do not want heaven. I do not want Brahmaloka. I do not want Dhruvaloka. I do not want lower planetary systems. I do not want even liberation. Then what do you want? Lord may ask. He says, I just want to serve you. I am burning in separation from you. He gives 3 examples. how a small child, you know, how the small birds, baby birds, they are in separation from their mother, how the calf is in separation of the mother cow, and the wife is in separation from her husband. And then Vritrasur thinks maybe this is a very lofty, prayer which I have offered. Then he says, he becomes humble and offers his prayers in this world. He says, please give me association of your devotees. So that's what we discussed yesterday. And then after that, we'll continue the discussion today with the 12th chapter, where Vritrasur will fight Indra. And first of all, Vritrasur, after offering prayers to the Supreme Lord, he attacks Indra. Because Indra, he wanted to give up his body, and therefore he was having no fear, because he knew that he is a pure devotee of the Lord. He'll go back to the place where Supreme Lord is there. So therefore, he understood that the death in the battle is a victory for me. So therefore, he attacked Indra with all his strength. He threw his trident, towards Indra. And Prabhupada writes that Vritrasur, although he was repeatedly encouraging Indra to kill him with the thunderbolt, but Indra, he was morose. You know why Indra was morose? Because Indra knew that when this Vritrasur offered his beautiful, beautiful prayers, Indra realized that this person is not a demon. He is in the body of a demon, but he is not a demon. He is a devotee. So therefore, Indra, he realized that he is a Vaishnava. He is a great devotee of the Lord. He was hesitating to kill a devotee of the Lord. He was hesitant to throw that thunderbolt. So Vritrasura was disappointed when he saw that Indra is not throwing this thunderbolt. I am waiting to go to the abode of the Lord, and Indra is not throwing this thunderbolt. So just to incite Indra, Vritrasura threw his trident. He whirled his trident and he threw that forcefully with great anger. He said, and shouting, "O Indra, O sinful one, I shall kill you now." And Indra, when he saw this, trident coming towards him, Indra, he, fearlessly, he cut off the trident of Vritrasur, and then also with his thunderbolt, and also he cut off one of the arms of Vritrasur. So although, one of the arms of Vritrasur was severed, but still Vritrasur was very, very powerful. He angrily attacked Indra again on the jaw with an iron mace. So Vritrasur attacked Indra again with an iron mace. And also he has struck Aravat again. Because of the attack of this iron mace, thunderbolt fell from the hand of Indra. And as soon as the thunderbolt fell, all the devatas, all the denizens of heaven, they praised Vritrasur. Wow, what a wonderful, that is a Kshatriya spirit. That is the ideal Kshatriya spirit. Although the enemies, they are fighting, when the person sees, wow, my enemy is fighting so wonderfully, so chivalrously, enemy also glorifies. So all the devatas, they are glorifying. What a wonderful fighting, Vritrasur is, doing. But seeing Indra in danger, they lamented, alas, alas, now Indra is, getting defeated. Now seeing Indra discouraged, because Indra lost his weapon. If the thunderbolt fell from the hand of Indra, Indra became discouraged. Indra felt even ashamed to pick up that weapon. Vritrasura encouraged Indra. He said, "O Indra, take up your thunderbolt and kill me. Kill your enemy today. Take up. This is not the time for lamentation." So now Indra, although he is lamenting, and Vritrasura is, encouraging Indra. That is a wonderful, way Vritrasura was trying to push Indra. You kill me. You please pick up that thunderbolt. You kill me. So now Vritrasura, he enlightens the discouraged Indra. He says, "O Indra, in this world, continuous victory is possible only for the Supreme Lord. Only Lord is always victorious. All the other people in this world, they have to face sometimes victory, sometimes defeat. So Prabhupada writes that Vritrasur, he encouraged Indra, saying that don't be morose because of my victory. There is no need to stop fighting, O Indra. Instead, you should go on with your duty. When Krishna desires, you shall be victorious. So Prabhupada writes, this is a very, very instructive verse for the sincere workers in Krishna consciousness. In our activities in Krishna consciousness, sometimes we may win, sometimes we may get victory, sometimes we may get defeated. In many of our programs, sometimes there is a huge, wonderful program. Many devotees they attend, many people they come, and sometimes very few come. When Prabhupada was in America, he was practically alone trying to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. And one day he invited some people to come for the lecture. Actually, nobody came. Prabhupada, he did not become discouraged. He started speaking and he gave a 3-hour class. To whom? To the 4 walls. He never became discouraged. And that became the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. So that is a class which Prabhupada gave to no one. Many times Prabhupada would become so discouraged. He would go to Boston Harbor to ask, when is the next boat going back to India? And he would go many times. So one day, the captain of the Boston Harbor, he asked, Swamiji, you are coming, very often, but when are you going? If Prabhupada would have gone, we would not have come to Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, this is a very instructive verse for the sincere workers in Krishna consciousness. We should not be jubilant in victory and we should not be morose in defeat. So therefore, all of us, we have to try our best to preach this message of Krishna consciousness and don't think, oh, nobody is coming. We have to do it for our own purification. Apana shodhite kori mukhya mukhya jan. Ananta chaitanya gana ke karu ganan. Apana shodhite kori mukhya mukhya jan. Kaviraj Goswami says, there are so many devotees of Lord Chaitanya. How many names I'll take? I am taking few of the names just for my own purification. So Prabhupada writes there, this should be the attitude of all the devotees in Krishna consciousness. I'm not doing preaching for others' welfare. I am doing it for my own welfare. So then Vritrasur tells Indra, time controls all the living entities, including all the devatas and the lokpals. Everything is controlled by time. Just like the birds which are caught in the net, time controls everyone. Time is the cause of victory or defeat. Loka sapala yasye me swashanti vivashayase dvija ivashicha baddha sakala iha karanam. He says, Loka sapala, all the great devatas and controllers of the 4 directions, they are under the control of time. As Krishna says, Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravriddho. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, I am time. Everything is working because of my fear. It is described that out of fear of Supreme Lord, even sun rises, air is blowing, Agni is giving heat, even death is coming because of fear of God, Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes, very interesting purport here. This is the 8th verse. The difference between Sura and the Asura is, the Suras know that nothing can happen without the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the main difference between the devotee and the demon. Devotee knows that whatever is happening in my life, it is happening by the will of the Lord. I am not in control. Whatever I have done in my past life, the reactions will come for sure. I cannot do anything about it. But because I have come to Krishna consciousness, now Krishna is taking care of me. Tattenu kampam sushamikshamano bhunjanu evatma kritam vipakam ridvag vapurbhir vidhan namaste jiveta yumukti pade sadai bhak. Brahmaji prays that this should be the attitude of all the devotees in Krishna consciousness movement. They should know that everything is happening by the will of the Lord and devotee is personally taken care of by the Lord. So we should never ever become discouraged when defeat comes in life, when problem comes in life. And Vritrasura is showing by his personal example. Prabhupada writes there, in this fight, Vritrasura is a sura, Indra is asura. Very interesting, Indra is a demon, Vritrasura is a demon, and Indra is a devata, demigod. But the mentality matters. Here, Vritrasura is a devata, he is a sura, and Indra is a asura. Because Vritrasura knows that I am destined to be killed by the Supreme Lord, it has to happen, and I have full faith in that. Indra, although he was personally assured by the Supreme Lord Vishnu, you go, you make this thunderbolt, and you will kill Vritrasura. But Indra is not having that faith. So therefore, Vritrasura says, "O Indra, time controls everything in this world. Oja saho balam pranam amritam mrityumevacha tamagyaya jato hantum jano hantum atmanam manyate jadam." He says time controls everything. Oja, sensory prowess, power, mental power, saha, bala, strength, everything is controlled by time, the living force, immortality, even death. Only fools think that the dull body is the cause of creation. Actually, time is the supreme controller. And who is the controller of time? That is the Supreme Lord. Just like a person controls a wooden doll, Supreme Lord controls all the living beings through the laws of karma. Yathana darumayi nari yatha patra mayo mrigaha etam bhutani evam bhutani maghavan ishatantrani vidhibho. He says, just as a wooden doll of a woman or an animal made of grass is controlled by the puppeteer, all the living beings in the world, they are controlled by the Supreme Lord. So, O Indra, without the mercy of the Lord, nobody can win in this world. Nobody can create even 3 Purushavasaras, even Prakriti, Mahatattva, false ego, all the 5 elements, material senses, mind, intelligence. Nobody can create this material manifestation without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. The sanction is required. There are 3 types of doers Bhagavad Gita describes. There is an initiating cause, there is a sanctioning cause, and then facilitating cause. Jiva, we desire material nature, and then Supreme Lord sanctions, and then only material nature facilitates. Without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, material nature will not facilitate. So therefore, O Indra, only foolish people, they think themselves to be the creator. They don't know that they are always dependent. They are anisha. Anisha means they are not the supreme independent. They are dependent on the Supreme Lord. It is a Lord who creates, who maintains, and who annihilates everything. Therefore, don't think about the good and bad effects of this fight. Good and bad depends on the time. Ayu Shri Kirti Aishwaryam Ashisha Purushashyah Bhavanti Eva Hitatkale Yatha Nichor Viparyayah. Man's Ayu, Shri, Kirti, Aishwarya, Ashish. One's longevity of life, opulence, fame, power, and all the other blessings, they come according to the time. Bhavanti eva hi tatkale. According to the time factor, people, they develop all these things. And similarly, according to the time factor, they lose all that. Prabhupada writes there, therefore, it is not good to be puffed up. People say, I am a self-made man. I have made my own wealth, opulence, property. They are not right. Our own effort is not sufficient in giving us results unless it is sanctioned by Krishna. Therefore, O Indra, one should not be disturbed. Be equipoised in fame and defamation, victory and defeat, happiness and distress, life and death. Please be equipoised. Tasmat akirti yashashor jaya apajayorapi Samasyat sukha dukkhana mrityu jivitoshyatha. Be equipoised. That is called samatvam yoga. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, what is the quality of a person who has transcended the three modes? He is not affected by name, fame, or infamy, victory or defeat, heat and cold. Sama dukha sukha swastha samaloshtrashma kanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhira tulyo nindatma samstuti. So that is the quality of a self-realized soul. So therefore Vitrasur says, O Indra, the person who knows the three modes of nature, he is a liberated soul. He is not affected by the modes of the material nature because he has transcended all of them. He knows that Supreme Lord is functioning after all. Soul is just an observer. Soul is bound by these qualities. Super soul is not bound by the qualities. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, when one becomes free from these three modes of material nature, then he is permanently happy. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. That is a level of Brahma bhut stage. So in the midst of all the problems in this material world, where everything is changing so very quickly, people, they get disturbed when things change in life. We should know that only thing which is constant in this world is change. The more things change in the world, we should learn to catch hold of those things that do not change. And what are those things that do not change? That is the holy names of the Lord. That is association of devotees, Bhagavatam. These things will never change. So therefore a devotee is not disturbed. If somebody is equipoised, even in the midst of all the dualities, he is already liberated. And then Vritrasur says, just see my example. You are disturbed just because you lost your weapon. Just see me. Even though I have been defeated, my weapon is lost. My arm, one of my arm is cut to pieces. Still I am trying to fight. Still I am trying my best. I am not morose. So therefore Vritrasur was so great and so powerful that even with his one hand, he was, attacking Indra. And Prabhupada writes that here, Vritrasur is acting as the spiritual master of Indra. Indra, although Vritrasur, he was on the verge of defeat, but still he is giving all the instructions to Indra. He knew that he was going to be defeated because it is the word of God. Vishnu has told it will happen. And he accepted all that. And therefore he knew that Indra is supposed to kill me. He is preaching to Indra. Prabhupada writes, one should perform his duty under all circumstances, even though one may know what the result will be. That is very, very difficult. That's what Vritrasur is showing by his personal example. He knew he is going to get defeated. But still, because Lord wanted, that's why he is giving his best. He knew he'll get defeated. Prabhupada writes, one should perform his duty under all circumstances, even though one may know what the result will be. So this will not come automatically. This is a very high level of consciousness of Vritrasur. He is completely surrendered and dedicated to the Supreme Lord. He is a pure devotee of the Lord. Therefore he's saying all this. And then he says, oh Indra, just take my example. I am defeated. He says, just, you are fighting in this battle. You should consider this battle as a gambling match. In a gambling match, people, they put stake. In this gambling match, our lives are at stake. The dice, they are like the stake. The animals which are acting as our carriers, they are like the game board. Therefore, in gambling match, nobody can understand who will win, who will lose. So don't be discouraged. Just do your duty. So now Indra, when he hears all these wonderful words from Vritrasur, he realized, he was really amazed first of all, So then he says, he offers his obeisances, he becomes so very happy. He started smiling. So far he was not smiling. Indra, he first thought, how can a demon have such a devotion, such knowledge, such detachment? But when he saw, and because of that he was surprised. A demon speaking like this with such knowledge, he was surprised. Then he thought, then he remembered Prahlad Maharaj. Then he remembered Bali Maharaj and all the others. And he thought that the bhakti of all these demons, they are million times greater than my bhakti. Even though they are in the body of demons, their bhakti is million times greater. So therefore, he became very happy. His amazement disappeared. And then he smiled in a joyful mood. He said, you are a perfect devotee, O Vritrasur. Aho danava siddhosi yasya te matiridrishi bhakta sarvatmanatmanam suridam jagadishwaram. So he says, O Indra, O Vritrasur, danav siddhosi, you are a perfect devotee. O Danav, O demon, you are a perfect devotee. Yasya te matiridrishi. Just see. I'm just amazed to see your, intelligence and consciousness. You are perfectly determined. I am seeing your discrimination and endurance. It is unimaginable. No one has shown such type of determination and endurance. Bhakta sarvatmanatmanam. In bhakti towards the Lord of the universe, who is the friend of everyone. Supreme Lord is a friend of everyone. You have shown unlimited determination and unlimited endurance to serve that Supreme Lord. Suridam Jagadishwaram. That Supreme Lord is Surida and Jagadishwara. You are in such a dangerous position, but still you are giving your best. So Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadikam tatah yasmin sthito na dukkhena guruna api vichalyate. Somebody is asking, who was this Vritrasura actually? That is the same question, Parikshit Maharaj will ask in, future. So wait for the, class to continue. So Prabhupada writes, he quotes this verse from 6th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, where he says, whoever gets this experience of Krishna consciousness, whoever gets a little glimpse of this taste of Krishna consciousness, manyate na adhikam tataha. Very beautiful verse, Krishna is speaking there. Yam labdhva. After getting Krishna consciousness, he thinks all the other things are of no use. Na adhikam. All the other things of the world, they are of no use to me. This is the best thing which I have got in my life. That is the experience of many devotees. After they come to Krishna consciousness, that is the experience which almost everyone has without fail. This is the best thing I have got in Krishna consciousness. And many devotees, when they come to the process of Krishna consciousness after few years, I've seen in the hostel, when the devotees, when the students, they join in second year and third year of their college, they lament, Prabhuji, why I didn't come earlier? I have lost 2-3 years of my life. Manyate nadhikam tataha. He thinks I have got, what I have got is the best thing. Yasmin stitona dukkhena guruna pi vichalyate. And after getting this, a devotee is not disturbed in any of the situation because he knows Krishna is there in control. I am not alone. I am not alone in this fight against material energy. Krishna is there. Krishna is there to protect me. Krishna is there to give guidance and mercy. Through the devotees, through scripture, through Bhagavatam, he comes himself. That is the faith devotee has. So then he says, O Vritrasur, you have surmounted, you have overcome the illusory energy of the Lord. You are a liberated soul. This Vaishnavim, Mayam Vai Vaishnavim, he says, Oh Vritrasur, you have overcome the Vaishnavi Maya. You have overcome the illusory energy of Lord Vishnu. And because of this, you have attained liberation already. Although you are in the body of a demon, you have given up this demoniac mentality. So therefore, I offer my obeisances. Prabhupada writes in the purport, who is a devotee, who is a demon? Vishnu bhakta smrito deva asurastad viparyayaha. Who is a devotee? Who is a devotee? Who is a person who is a devotee of the Lord? He is a sura. And all the other, they are devotees. So therefore, anybody can get purified. When they come to the process of Krishna consciousness, anybody can become purified from whatever background they are coming. Shukdev Goswami describes Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Samba Yavanaka Sadaya Yanye cha Papa Yadapa Shraya Shraya Shuddyanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namaha. Kirata, and there is a list of all the lower castes, all the lower species of humans. Ye anye cha Papa, whatever sinful activities they may have done in their past lives, Shuddyanti, they become purified. Prabhavishnave Namaha. So therefore, he says that this is not a great wonder. Because actually he says it is a great wonder that although you are in the body of a demon, generally demons, they are influenced by passion and ignorance. But you have fixed your mind on the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. And therefore you are swimming in this nectar of devotion. Yasya bhaktir bhagavati haro nishreyaseshware vikridato amritambudao kim shudrai khatakodakai. He says, Yasya bhaktir bhagavati. A person who renders devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, that Supreme Lord who is Nishreyas Ishwaraha, he is the supreme auspiciousness for everyone. Supreme Lord Krishna, he is there to give auspiciousness to everyone. That's why Narad Muni, he as a small boy in the first canto, when his mother died, small boy, for him his mother was the only thing, only shelter. He had nobody else to take shelter of. When his mother died because of being bitten by a serpent, he burnt the body of the mother. Along with the hut, he left for the north. And there the verse very beautifully describes that, he considered it as the mercy of the Lord. So therefore, Supreme Lord, Bhaktanam Sham Abhipsitaha Anugraham Manyamana Pratishtham Dishamuttaram. He says, this Narad Muni, Narad boy, he considered that Bhaktanam Sham Abhipsitaha. Supreme Lord always desires auspiciousness for his devotees. So therefore, when people say that problems are coming in my life because I think Lord is giving me problems, they don't know the merciful nature of the Lord. Tameva vatsa shraya bhritya vatsalam mumukshabhi mrigya padabja paddhatim ananya bhave nij dharma bhavite manasavasthapya bhajasva purusham. Suniti is telling to Dhruva, oh Dhruva, don't be disturbed by the harsh words of your stepmother. Go to forest, take shelter of Lord Vishnu. He is Bhrittivatsal. Supreme Lord has the heart of millions of mothers combined together. Lord is always ready to show mercy to the devotees. He is ready to give all the auspiciousness to his devotees. So therefore Indra is saying, oh Vritrasur, you are swimming, Vikridita. Vikridita means you are enjoying. Where Amrita Ambudo, you are enjoying in this nectarine ocean of devotion. Then Kim Shudrai Khatakodakai, what is the use of water in the ditches? That means what is the use of all the mundane pleasures of this world? So Vritrasur had already said, in the previous verses, we heard the prayer of Vritrasur, Nanaka Prishtam Nachaparamishtam Nasaro Bhaumam. I do not want anything of this world. Prabhupada writes, this is a determination of a pure devotee. Whatever temptations, whatever allurements is given to a devotee never ever exchanges his devotion in return of any of the mundane enjoyments. When Giriraj Maharaj he joined ISKCON, his father was a very rich person. He came to Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, we want our son back, you know. And he gave a blank check to Prabhupada. And he said, Swamiji, you can write any amount here. So Giriraj Maharaj, that time Giriraj Das Brahmachari, he said, Prabhupada, keep this check also and keep me also. So that is a devotee. He will never exchange devotional service with anything of this world. That is the most priceless treasure a devotee has in the life. That's what Dhruv Maharaj tells. Oh my Lord, after I have got your darshan, I realized that whatever I was looking for, it was broken pieces of glass. What I have got is diamond. I was desiring for a place in this material world. Sthan abhilasha. स्थान की अभिलाषा से मैंने आपकी तपस्या की. स्थानाभिलाषी तपसी स्थितो हम त्वाम प्राप्तवान देव मुनिंद्र गुह्यम. To attain you, many sages and the saints, they are doing tapasya for eons. Kacham vichinman api divya ratnam swamin kritarthosmi varam nayache. I have become completely satisfied, O my Lord. I do not want anything. That is a determination of pure devotee. Even Lord comes and tempts. Please take something. We'll discuss in 7th canto. When Narsimdev appeared and he, killed Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj, he came and offered prayers. Narsimdev became very happy with the prayers of Prahlad and he asked Prahlad, please ask something. Acharyas, they describe that till now, Narsimdev was angry. When Narsimdev, he told this to Prahlad, Prahlad became angry. Prahlad, he in an angry mood, he said, oh my Lord, I have not done devotional service to ask something from you. I am not a businessman. I am not a vanik. So devotee never exchanges anything in this world. So there, never exchanges devotion with anything of this world. He is only attached to devotional service. And then after saying all that, Indra, he resumes his fighting. So Shukdev Goswami says that, Vritrasura and Indra, they both were like very, very powerful warriors. And after they had some devotional discussion on the battlefield, they again fighting dutifully. Dutifully they started fighting because they knew Indra was also fighting because he wanted to, that was his duty. He did not want to kill Vritrasur because he knew he's a great Vaishnava, he's a great Brahmana. I don't want to kill him. But it was a duty for Indra to fight. So now Vritrasur, what he did, he whirled his iron club and threw it towards Indra with his left hand because he had only one hand remaining. Indra, he cut to pieces that club of Vritrasur and also he cut off the remaining hand of Vritrasur. And with his thunderbolt called Shataparvan, there is the name of thunderbolt, Shataparvan. So now Vritrasur, although his both of the hands were cut, he was bleeding very profusely. And he resembled a mountain. As if, it is described in the history, scriptures that in the earlier ages, mountains could fly. They had wings. Indra cut off the wings of the mountains because they were creating lots of disturbance. Vritrasur was looking like that mountain whose wings were cut off. He opened his jaws. His lower jaw was on the ground. His upper jaw was touching the sky. His mouth was very, very deep like a cave. And he had very sharp teeth. He had tongue like a tongue of a huge serpent. And with all these features, he seemed to devour the entire universe. He shook the mountains. All the mountains started shaking. He was crushing the entire surface of the earth. And this way, opening his mouth, because his both hands were cut, with his open mouth, he came before Indra. He swallowed Indra along with the Airavat. Just like a python might swallow a mighty elephant, Indra was swallowed by Vritrasur. And when the demons, when the demigods, they saw this, they started lamenting. All the Devatas, Brahma, Prajapatis, and all the great sages, they started lamenting, oh, what a calamity, alas, alas. But Indra, he was protected by Narayana Kavacha and by his own mystic power. So although Indra was there in the belly of Vritrasur, he did not die. And Indra, he pierced the abdomen of Vritrasur, he came out. And then he cut off the head of Vritrasur. The head of Vritrasur, it was like a huge mountain peak. Indra took 1 year to cut the head of Vritrasur. It was so very thick and strong and stout and tough to cut. It took 1 year. Although this thunderbolt was revolving around the head and cutting the head with great speed, but still it took 1 year. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, what happened actually? When Vritrasur swallowed Indra, he thought, now I have killed Indra. Now there is no more need of fighting. So now let me go back to the spiritual world. Let me go back to Godhead. Thinking like this, he voluntarily stopped all his bodily activities. He focused his mind on Lord Sankarshana and he became situated in Samadhi. He was in trance. Taking this advantage of this, steadiness, the silence, Indra, he thought maybe now nothing is happening. So Indra pierced the abdomen of Vritrasur and he came out. Actually, it is described that Vritrasur had already left his body. And it was the body of Vritrasur, it was the dead head of Vritrasur which Indra was cutting for 1 year. And therefore it is described that, Vritrasur, he was so very absorbed in devotional trance, although his head was being cut, it is described in the further verses, but still he did not perceive any physical pain. That is the glory of a devotee. That is the secret of success. The more we are absorbed in the principles of devotion, the more we are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, the troubles, the miseries of this world will not trouble us. Miseries will come. We cannot avoid miseries, but to suffer in those miseries is in our hand. Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna nama Katha muda kurvanto ramamanascha navindan bhavavedana. It is described that in Braja, so many calamities would come every day. Demons would come every day. But Iti nandadayo gopa Krishna Rama Katha muda. All the Gopas, Nanda Maharaj and all the Upananda, Sunanda and all the Brajvasis, all the Gopis, Krishna Rama Katha muda. They were blissful, discussing the glorious, wonderful, sweet pastimes of Krishna. Kurvanto ramamanascha navindan bhavavedana. They did not suffer any of the calamities in this world. That's why it is described that devotees, they transcend death. People, when they are faced with miseries, when they are faced with death, they suffer 3 types of pain. At the time of death, they suffer 3 types of pain. They have the sorrow about the past thing. Oh, I could not do this. I have all this family, house, children, everything will be lost. Sorrow about the past. They are troubled, they are pained because of the present situation of bodily disease and all the systems in the body collapsing. They have fear about the future. They don't know where they are going. Devotee, he transcends all these types of pain. He knows, he is not sorrowful about the past because he knows everything is belonging to Krishna. Atma, Jaya, Suta, Agar, Pashu, Dravin, Bandhu and Rajya. All these things, my family, my body, wife, children, property, wealth, everything is belonging to Krishna. So why should I fear? And personally, they are undergoing through lots of pain, but they are not suffering because of that. And we see in the life of Prabhupada and the life of many of the disciples of Prabhupada, they have left their bodies in such a wonderful, consciousness. And there, Giriraj Maharaj has written a whole book about few of the Vaishnavas who left their body in such a glorious way. There are many devotees, few of them are mentioned, and the book is called The Million Moons. So therefore, devotee is not troubled, he's not suffering because of the pain. And then he's not fearful about the future because he knows where he's going. He's going to meet Krishna. It is described by acharyas that, for a devotee, death is like a love marriage. Because when a girl is in love and she knows she's getting married, so she knows where she's going. She knows the husband, who would be the husband, who would be the in-law. So she's happy. She's waiting. But the girl who does not know, in arranged marriage, she is fearful because she does not know who will be the husband, who will be the in-laws. So for a devotee, death is like getting into love marriage. So therefore, he's not fearful. And Vritrasur also left in that consciousness. He was completely absorbed in samadhi. He did not even realize when his soul left the body and attained the spiritual world. When Indra killed Vritrasur, all the Gandharvas and all the Devatas, everybody started celebrating, beating the cradle drum, singing the glorification of the Indra. Everybody was happy, showering the flowers, and everybody saw that the spark, the Jyoti, the soul, came out of the body of Vritrasur and entered into the spiritual abode and entered the abode of Lord Shankarshan. So that was the end of the 12th chapter. Now, very interesting chapter starts here. In the 13th chapter, we'll see, when Indra, what happens to Indra after this? So when Vritrasur was killed, everybody was happy. All the devatas, all the presiding deities, everybody was happy. There was only one person who was not happy. And you know who was that? That was Indra. Indra was not happy. He was morose, he was sad. Everybody, after this whole battle was over, everybody, all the devatas, pitris, bhutas, devatas, and even demons, they returned to their abode. Indra did not return. While departing, nobody actually spoke anything to Indra. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, why Indra did not return to heaven? Because Indra was not fit to return to his abode, because he had killed a Brahmana, he had killed a Vaishnava. So therefore he was so very distressed, he became overcome by the sinful reaction. So when Parikshit Maharaj, as a very alert and attentive hearer, he asked, why was Indra unhappy? Everybody was happy. Why was Indra unhappy? No, Indra killed a demon. Why he was not happy? Prabhupada in the purport, he does not wait for the suspense to, remain for some time. He immediately clarifies why Indra was not happy. Prabhupada writes, Indra was unhappy because he knew that he had killed a great devotee and a Brahmana. And therefore, he was really lamenting. Indra, then Shukdev Goswami said, actually, Indra was afraid of killing Vritrasur even before the battle started. Because he knew Vritrasur is a Brahmana, he is a great devotee, he is a Brahman. So he did not want to kill Indra. Therefore the king, when the sages, they told that you kill this Vritrasur, Indra replied, what about the sinful reactions? Who will take the sinful reaction of killing a Brahmana? Earlier, by mistake, because of my, anger, I killed Vishwarup and I had to suffer so much. For 1 year I was suffering. And then by the mercy of the, women, land, trees and water, I became relieved. Now, if I kill this Brahmana again, how will I become free from sinful reactions? So the sages, they encourage Indra. They say, Indra, don't worry. We shall perform the Ashwamedh sacrifice. To make you free from the sinful reactions, we will do Ashwamedh sacrifice. What to speak of killing one Brahmana? The holy names of the Lord are so powerful that even if somebody kills all the men, they can be relieved. Anybody can be relieved. One who has killed a Brahmana, cow, father, mother, spiritual master, anybody. They can become free from the sinful reaction just by chanting the names of the Lord. So therefore, we will perform this Ashwamedha Yajna. You will become free from all the sinful reactions. Prabhupada writes in the purport, he quotes the one verse from Prema Vivarta written by Jagdanand Pandit. Eka Krishna Nama Papira Yata Papakshay Bahujanma Shai Papi Korite Nare. If somebody, chants the holy names of the Lord, they are so powerful that a person cannot perform sufficient sins which cannot be nullified by chanting one name of the Lord. That's how powerful the holy name is. So, O Indra, please do not fear. Prabhupada makes a very interesting point in the purport there. One should not intentionally commit sinful activities thinking that he'll be purified by chanting the names of the Lord. Such a mentality is greatly abominable. It is the most abominable offense. And that is the seventh offense against the holy name. Namno baladiyasya hi papa buddhi. So then Prabhupada writes that, therefore there are so many sins people are doing in this world, and the Krishna consciousness movement offers a chance for everyone to become purified. Actually, sages, they give guarantee to Vritrasur. They encouraged Vritrasur by giving a guarantee that we will make you free. Because of this, they also suffered. Indra suffered, and the sages, they also suffered. It will be seen in the future how they suffered. Because they gave advice. We will make you free from the sin of killing a Brahmana by purifying you, by chanting the names, by doing this Ashwamedha. They also suffered a lot. So now, because he was encouraged by the sages, Indra killed Vritrasur. And then sinful reaction of killing a Brahmana took shelter of Indra. Chakravarti Thakur writes that Indra, he killed Vishwarup out of circumstantial anger. And he killed Vritrasur purposely. Therefore, the reaction was much more greater. He purposefully killed Vritrasur. Therefore, the reaction was much more greater. And therefore, he got a huge, very strong reaction. Indra, he was suffering very badly. He was so very unhappy. And because when he saw that now I have become afflicted by sinful reaction, Prabhupada writes, one cannot be happy by committing sinful acts. If somebody offends a Brahmana, if somebody offends a Vaishnava, he cannot be happy. Ayu shriyo yasho dharmam lokana shiyashevacha hanti shreyamse sarvani pumso mahadatikramaha. If somebody offends great people, great Brahmanas, great devotees of the Lord, his lifespan is decreased, his opulences, his wealth goes down, his fame, dharmic principles, and all the benedictions get destroyed. So Indra, he was chased by this personified sin, as you can see in this slide. This personified sin of killing Vritrasur, a Brahmana, in the form of an old woman, was afflicted with tuberculosis, and his body was covered with blood, and her body was covered with blood, and her hair was scattered, and she was emitting an unbearable fishy odor. Her breath was very, very, obnoxious smell, carrying obnoxious smell. And she was chasing Indra and calling, wait, wait. So wherever Indra went, this witch was following him. In all the directions, Indra flew. And then ultimately, not getting any abode to take rest, he went to the northwest and entered Manas Sarovar Lake. In this Manas Sarovar Lake, Indra stayed for 1,000 years. As he was staying in this lake for 1,000 years, constantly he was thinking of one thing: how I'll become free from the sinful reaction of killing a Brahmana. In this lake, he stayed in the subtle fibers of lotus stem. Actually, he was practically starving there. Why he was starving? Because, generally Indra comes and offers all the oblations which people perform in the heaven. But the messenger of Agni, he was so very afraid to enter this Mansarovar lake to deliver the share of sacrifice for Indra. Chakravarti Thakur writes there that actually it is not difficult for Agni to enter water, because he goes and gives the share of sacrifice to Varuna also inside water. So however, this place, this Manasarovar lake, Agni could not enter, because this lake was protected by the associates of Lord Shiva. They were guarding it. And because of that, even Agni could not enter, and even that sin personified could not enter. So therefore, Indra was there staying for 1,000 years, practically starving. And in this period of 1,000 years, because there was no one to rule the kingdom, a great king of the earth, Nahusha, he was made king for that time, and he was ruling the kingdom. Somebody may ask, how can a human rule the Swarga? Because Nahusha, he was endowed with knowledge, austerity, and all the yogic powers. So therefore, he was having all the capacity to rule the heavenly planet. Then somebody may ask, okay, then why did Indra again rule Swarga? What happened? So this Nahusha, the story is described by Chakravarti Thakur. This Nahusha, when he became king, it is natural. When a human becomes king, naturally one will become proud and he'll become blinded. There is Mohand, there is Madand, there is Kamand, and there is Dhanand. The person who gets wealth in a very short duration of time, he becomes practically blinded by that wealth. Janma karma vayo rupa vidya aishwarya dhanadibhi yadi yasya na bhavet stambha tatrayam madanugrahat. So Vamana Devi is telling about Bali Maharaj. Janma, karma, vayo, rupa, vidya, aishwarya, and dhana, and adi. If somebody has high birth, good pious activities, very healthy body, youthful body, beautiful body, vidya, very knowledgeable, aishwarya, all the opulence and wealth, dhanadi, yadi asya na bhavet sambha. Even after getting all this, if somebody is not impudent, if somebody is not proud, you should know that tatrayam mad anugrahat. This is only possible by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, nobody can resist the temptation. He will become proud. So only thing which can make one, keep one humble is mercy of the Supreme Lord. So Nahusha, he became very blinded by the pride. And one day, he spoke to Indra's wife, because Indra was not there, but Indra's wife was there. Shachi was there in the heaven. So Nahusha thought, Indra's throne, my throne. Indra's property, my property. Indra's wife, my wife. So he approached Shachi and he said, I am now I am Indra. Therefore, you should serve me. You should enjoy with me. Shachi, she became very astonished when she heard this. So Shachi, she approached Brihaspati and she told whatever had happened. So Brihaspati, he told, okay, you go and tell him that you will enjoy with him, provided you come on a palanquin which is carried by all the Saptarishis. Because if he engages Saptarishis in his service, then of course he will fall down because of the aparad. So Nahusha, he was so very blinded by the pride and the wealth, he did not even realize this. So he called the Saptarishis and they were carrying him to the place where Shachi was living. And then as they were carrying, they were carried by all the great rishis, Agastya and all the other sages. So Nahusha, he was so very impatient. He was telling them, Sarpa, Sarpa. Sarpa means fast, fast. Why are you so slow? Take me fast. And then he touched Agastya with his foot. Agastya, he became so very, angry. He cursed. You're calling us to go Sarpa, Sarpa, you become Sarpa. So he became a python. And the story of Nahusha comes in the, 10th canto also. So now Indra, as he was staying in this Manas Sarovar lake for 1,000 years, his senses were slowly diminished by three ways. Because this lake was having the influence of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he purified him. And then Lakshmi, she resides in the lotus flower in the Mansarovar lake. So she gave her mercy. And then constantly for 1,000 years, he was doing meditation on Lord Vishnu. That meditation, he became purified this Indra completely. And then after this, he was called back to heaven. And this Indra's sin of killing the Brahmana, Vritrasura, was ultimately vanquished. Just like a fog is vanquished by the sun, the sin of killing a Brahmana was destroyed. And then ultimately Indra regained his position, and then he, under the guidance of all the sages, Marichi and all the Brihaspati and all the other sages, they did a sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yagya, and they purified Indra. So now Shukadeva Goswami describes that this narrative, this great narrative of Vritrasura and Indra, includes glorification of the Lord, the glories of bhakti, the glorification of the devotees, and Indra's victory and release from the sinful life. And then in the end, Shukadeva Goswami gives the Falashruti. He says, the learned are always advised to read this narration and hear it on sacred days, because it brings one active senses, wealth, fame, freedom from all the sins, victory, good fortune, and longevity. So this is a beautiful narration of how Vritrasur, he was, although superficially defeated, but he was actually the victorious person. He went to the spiritual world. So that's how Bhagavatam goes into the detail. Bhagavatam does not seize the external of a person. Externally, Vritrasur was a demon, but internally he was a devotee. Therefore, Bhagavatam describes the essence. Shukmukad nigamat kalpataror galitam phalam shukmukad amrit drabya samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So therefore, Bhagavatam is like a nectar, ripened fruit. It is just the essence. And therefore, Bhagavatam sees the essence, that is a devotion. And that is a glorious devotion of Vritrasur. So the devotees of the Lord, they are the seekers of essence. Satamayam sarabhritam nisargo yadarthavani shruti chetasamapi pratikshanam navyavadachyutasya striya vitanam iva sadhu varta. Devotees, they are sarbhritam. They are the seekers of essence. So therefore, with their mind, words, intelligence, they are just engaged in glorifying the Supreme Lord. So that is the end of the 13th chapter. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If anyone has any questions, you can please ask. If you like, you can speak also.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Vritrasur's death was planned by Vishnu only. All the things were given by Vishnu only. Then how come Indra received the sin? Because whatever Krishna says is dharma, and he had only instructed. So how to understand this?
See, even though Lord gave the process of killing Vritrasur, but actually, because the demigods, they wanted it. Indra personally, he was reluctant, because he knew that although Supreme Lord has given the benediction, because they went to Supreme Lord for that. But even if somebody goes to Supreme Lord may give that, but he knows that he gives in such a way that the person will become purified, So that's the difference between Krishna giving a benediction and other devatas giving a benediction. So therefore, in this whole process, Lord Vishnu, although he gave this benediction that you will be victorious, but the end result was Indra, he became purified. Indra, he realized the glories of bhakti and glories of a devotee. So that is the ultimate essence. That's how Krishna works. Externally, he gave some benediction, but ultimately, yesterday, a few days back, somebody was asking in a class that, I was saying that Krishna protects his devotees always. And if a devotee is there and a non-devotee is there. So non-devotee, if he commits some mistake, Krishna will tell all the administrative agents, okay, you take care of him. But when a devotee commits mistake, Lord says, "Oi, apna admi, isko bazu side mein lo." We'll take care of him. I will take care of him personally. So after the class, the one devotee was asking Prabhuji, if that is the case, then devotee people will say, just see, here nepotism is happening. Krishna is also, favoring his people. So, but actually the point is, when Krishna favors his people, he purifies them in such a way that they will not ask for the same thing again. So even though the devotee does some mistake, Krishna will take care that the devotee is completely thoroughly purified. Thoroughly purified. And the process of purification which Krishna employs for his devotees is not always a happy experience. Just see Kalia, although he was not killed, but still he had to undergo a lot of pain. So that's how externally, although it was words of Krishna, but ultimately Krishna wanted Indra to get purified. So that's how the whole thing was, planned. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions anybody has? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.